Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of It Stinks right here on the Boom Broadcasting. So glad to be back with you this week. So much has happened in the past week, and just glad to be back. Got to give a shout out to the prayers, Mr. Michael Davis, my main man. Gave me the week off last week. Yes, I put in my time, sent up the timesheet, said, hey, Mr. Prayers, I need a couple of days off. So much was going on that I had to get catching up on. Around a lot of things right here around in my area, especially with spring coming in that I had to get done. Those things are behind me. But during that week off, I had a good chance to watch a lot of great TV, read a lot of great magazine articles on new stuff coming out. Also watch Wicked for the 14th, 15th time. Also do some other stuff I got to watch, The Amazing Race. So definitely enjoyed it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a basketball tournament going on in men's and women's NCAA Division I basketball. We're going to talk about not the tournament, but the ratings itself. How are they measuring up to the ratings of last year? There's also a trailer that just dropped today on a Tuesday night. It dropped last night. It's time to talk about to see what the new show is. It's not even a new show. It's another season of South Park on Comedy Central we'll be talking about. And, of course, we'll be talking about everything in between the world of TV and movie right here on It Stinks on the Boom Broadcasting. Let's go.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
It stinks.
Welcome back to It Stinks. Like we said, so much to talk about this week with TV show, movie review, and also the NCAA tournament. The Final Four is right upon us. Coming up this Friday and Saturday, the Final Four will get started for the men and women in the NCAA basketball March Madness tournament, Division I sports. And one thing we want to focus on, like for the sports side of it, please tune into all the sports shows right here on Boom Broadcasting. We got a plethora of great breakdown on the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament. But what we're going to look at is the rating aspect. And we're going to start with the women and then move our way to the men. Because the talk that we've been hearing everybody talk around the water cooler, at your job, talk around in the barbershop, no matter wherever you go and hang out, camaraderie at the bar, at the bowling alley, at the arcade, at the pool hall, wherever you go to hang out and gather with a lot of people, you have been hearing a lot of people say that this was not a good NCAA March Madness tournament for men and women because, A, the tournament just did not have the things we're used to seeing. NIL made it different. You don't have the Cinderella making it to the round of 32, the Sweet 16, maybe getting to that Elite 8 berth. You don't have Cinderella because NIL has destroyed that. But the one thing I can say the NIL has done is made it where the true teams have survived. And you don't get me wrong. I love a great Cinderella story in the tournament. I love it. I'm a fan of it. Thinks it needs to happen. But this year, I'm excited that the best teams were playing in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. And the ratings went up. Of course, when you got the Cinderella, you got the Mercer, the Lehigh, the Loyola, the Iona, all of those great schools, the HBCU school, whether it's Norfolk State, North Carolina A&T, NC Central. When you got those schools, Campbell University Bible School, Gardner-Webb, or UNCW, or even App State, that's not, well, App State's a big-time program. But when you got the Cinderella schools playing in the tournament, making it past the round of 64 to get to the round of 32, getting to that Sweet 16, and possibly coming out of the Sweet 16 round and getting to that Elite 8 to maybe punch a ticket to the Final Four, fans tend to only watch that one game or that one team. That's all we watch. We like to see the underdog. That's why we like the Rocky movies. all of that stuff. We root for the underdog, but when you got the best teams, the top 1 through 4, 1 through 6 teams playing at the Sweet 16, then you got 1 through 4 or 1 through 5 playing at the Elite Eight to punch their ticket to the Final Four. Ratings have been up for every single game. Just look at the women's tournament. Now, with the women, ratings did drop this year. They saw a decline. No Caitlin Clark. Sorry for Iowa. None of those girls that we kind of gravitated to 2 years ago in the NCAA tournament. But women's basketball has been great. And it did not drop that bad. Last year, they had a 2.4 million watching the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. This year just drops down to 1.7 million. That's not a bad slope. No, it's maybe a good 29% decrease. And if you look at it on paper, you say that's bad. But from me looking at it from my microscope, that's not bad because there were not a lot of the stars like we've seen with the Caitlin Clarks, all of them in the previous years playing in the tournament. So I think the women's tournament rating did actually better being able to survive that round and still garnish in 1.7 million viewership. So I was good with the women. Of course, the men's did go up very, very high. This is the first time the men's been this high. But the men ended up gathering over 15.3 million people tuning in on Saturday and Sunday to watch the Elite Eight games to see who would punch their ticket to the Final Four. The men is all the way up, but when you got the best teams playing, it makes a difference. I know we all say the NIL has killed college basketball and the game of college football, but I think for the tournament, you don't need the Cinderella. Yes, the Cinderella is the great story. It's the American underdog. It's the Rocky of the tournament. It's the team taking down the Big Bad Kentucky, taking down the UNC, taking down the Duke, taking down the Rebirth and New Breath of St. John, taking down all the Blue Bloods, the Kansas, all of the Blue Blood teams, but you don't need it. I feel like this tournament right here, to me, men's and women's, has probably been arguably one of the best tournaments we had. I want to see the best teams playing at the Elite Eight round. I want to see 1 versus 4, 1 versus 2, or 1 versus 3, or even 1 versus 5. I even go with 6. Those are the teams I want to see playing at the Elite Eight round. I really think we got it right this year with the ratings going up. Like I said, women's took a slight turn. No Caitlin Clark. So a lot of people were not tuning in, but still was great women's basketball. That South Carolina Duke was an instant classic right there. Could have went anyway. I was cheering for my Duke girls. We couldn't pull it off, but that was a great game. So it's going to be even better games going into the Final Four. Now, the next thing we want to talk about right here on the It Stinks on the Boom Broadcasting. We got a show getting canceled, ladies and gentlemen. It's on the bubble. And when a show is on the bubble, we got to talk about it. It's maybe 2 or 3 we're going to talk about. First one is Dr. Odyssey on ABC. I've been watching Dr. Odyssey since the first episode dropped the pilot. It's been a good show. It's been a show that's kept my attention, but it just feels like a show that's falling in that slippery slope of, will we get a season 2? Right now, ABC has it on the bubble. I feel confident saying this will get a season 2. ABC's always good about giving another opportunity for a show to at least get a second season to see how the ratings do. Now, another one that's on that slippery slope of being on that bubble is one I'm shocked about. The Equalizer on CBS. As you know, CBS has canceled FBI International and Most Wanted. Both of them have been cut. The FBI CIA series is getting ready to come out, where you're going to see a majority of those characters from both of those shows now playing on that one show. Equalizer has been a show that's been real good on CBS. Big viewership. I watched Equalizer. A lot of people watched Equalizer. Shocked to see this one coming. Would not expect it to be on the bubble. Still waiting for that Denzel Washington cameo on the Equalizer. I think if they pull that off, it will garnish in enough people to tune in for that one night to have Denzel come and reprise the original role as the original Equalizer. Queen Latifah has done good. This is a good show. It's one of the ones that if CBS cut is due to financial reason. I see this one surviving. I'm just worried about CBS because you don't know which way CBS will turn and go. Now, another one on the bubble. Another good show that I like, The Cleaning Lady on Fox. Cleaning Lady right now is dropping season 4. It's going live as we speak. Season 4. We'll be talking about The Cleaning Lady a little later on throughout this Stick on the Boom broadcasting. I can see this one getting a season 5, depend on how the season 4 ends. This one is on the bubble. Of course, it's on the bubble now because they just started season 4 last week. So, they got to put it on the bubble because they got to see the viewership of this season to see it worth to go in and film another season. So if that one gets cut, I'll be shocked, but I feel good that one would make it. Papa's House, CBS. That one may go. Watch Papa's House. I just can't get into it. Yes, it's funny. It's good comedy, but it's just kind of like Uncle Buck was on NBC with Mike Else. Damian Williams does a good job. Great actor. Knows how to play those roles, but it feels just kind of like that Mike Else Uncle Buck show on NBC that was good. It was funny. You just couldn't get in, put behind it. Couldn't get really into it because it just didn't feel like it would survive. Another good show from that was NBC was The Carmichaels. Another good show on NBC that got cut. The Carmichael Show was funny, hilarious, but it just did not have that to keep it going. And one thing about The Carmichael Show that was good was Little Rail really broke out of that show and hit the ground running in his acting career. So those are some of the ones that's on the block. Cleaning Lady, I feel good. Equalizer, I feel good. The Dr. Odyssey, it's ABC. Feel good. Found by NBC on the chopping block. That one may get cut. As good as I like Found, great show. Very good show on NBC. I don't know if Found makes it. If they go back to the original season 1, when the viewership was the highest, with a storyline for every episode of that of finding Sir and having Sir help Gabby solve these cases, I definitely think it can survive. So those are the ones I see on the list. I feel like the Equalizer will survive. I feel like Papa's House will get the axe. I feel like the Dr. Odyssey will survive. I feel like Found will survive. Of course, there's a few more on the list that we'll be talking about next week, but those were the ones that kind of stood out to me right there. Oh, the Irrational just made the list. Wow, on NBC. I hear it'll survive. It'll survive. So, our last thing we want to talk about, there was a trailer drop last evening that made my day because I really felt like we were not going to get this season this year. I really felt that this season was going to kind of just wait till maybe next year to do something. But my two good friends who create this show both said, you know what, let's do it. They've been wanting it, let's give it to them. And they also brought in some help for one of the shows to produce by bringing in Kendrick Lamar to help produce one of these episodes. My two good friends from South Park, Trey and Parker, who create South Park, let the world know tonight, well, last evening, that on July the 9th, in the summertime, best time to do it, because there's nothing on TV except Big Brother and game shows, that we would get a South Park season 26. If you know me, I'm a South Park fan. I've been watching South Park since season 1 in middle school, high school, telling those jokes. Me and all my buddies still tell those jokes. Me and my buddies still watch South Park. It is a show that just evolves. It's adult rude comedy. A lot of people don't like it. I find it funny. It is funny. That's what it's meant to be. Kenny, Stan, Kyle, Cartman, Butters, and Token, Jimmy, Timmy, Wendy, they just Mr. Garrison, Mr. Mackey, PC Principal, and everybody in between. Randy Marsh, everybody in between that makes South Park so great. It is a great show. Watching this trailer, I just died laughing because they're going to do what they do best on South Park. And I tell you, a lot of people don't like South Park because it touches a lot of real life situations and subjects. I mean, you got to remember, we were just singing We Drink Craig. We Drink Craig on the nightcap a few weeks ago. Me, my novel Mike, and my good sister Tortellini was singing the Craig song. I got Craig. I got Craig. I got that Google Craig, that Kiwi Lie. You got no Craig. So glad to see that South Park got renewed. Was worried. Knew it was going to get renewed. That's one of Comedy Central's biggest shows. Everybody still watches it. But I felt like it would have maybe got pushed off to next season because they try to build up a good season and wait for a lot of things to happen in real life to reiterate back on South Park of what we would see if we were in South Park, Colorado. So glad to see it's come back July the 9th. Glad to see it's coming that week. Think it's a good time to drop it in the summer. Nothing's on TV to compete against it. So every week on that Wednesday night, there will be a hot South Park episode. They're going to talk a lot of stuff from what we're seeing going on in today's world. From the trailer, they're going to have some stuff with Diddy in it. They're going to go on a mission. Randy's going to go do something with the government at the end when he says his little slings, I'm going to mess with the government. Mr. Garrison, they had a cameo on him. Will he come back as President Garrison? So it's just so much they're going to have going on. The boys got a lot going on. You're going to see a lot of real life events. I think this is going to be another stellar season of South Park. And one thing about South Park is it gets better every season. Every season I say, how can they take it to the next limit? And they take it there. So you're definitely going to see that. So I cannot wait. If you are not a fan of South Park, I would encourage you to watch it and give yourself a chance to get a good laugh. Because that's what it's made for, to make us look at things that happen in today's world, in reality, in real world, look at it from South Park and just sit back and laugh about it and just say, man, they figured this thing out of South Park. We need to figure it out here. That's why I truly enjoy the show. So great shows coming in July, South Park. Shows getting cut. We talked about those. Got some more shows we'll be talking about next week getting cut. Men's and women NCAA ratings are up. Women's did drop. But that declines because they just did not have the star players they have had over the past 3 years with the Bayou Barbies, with Caitlin Clarks, and everybody in between. Of course, with Juju tearing the ACL, that also kind of hurt with slipping the ratings because USC kind of went from a non-watch program. But South Carolina is still around, so ratings should go up. This is Sean. We enjoyed it this week. We'll see you next week talking about more shows, and we'll be also talking about one of the highest viewed shows. Got to shout that out. Highest viewed shows on Peacock right now is Wicked. If you have not went to go see Wicked, you have did yourself a disservice. Arguably one of the best musical movies of all time. The missus has watched it. She's in love with it. The little ones have watched it. The little one is watching it every day, singing all the songs. If you have not watched Wicked, go do it because November 26th, Wicked for the Good is coming. The poster's already been spotted at Comic-Con. It is coming, and I cannot wait to see part 2 of Wicked. This is Sean. It stinks. We'll be talking Amazing Race next week. The race is going on as people are competing for the Amazing Race for that grand prize. We'll be talking about that right here on It Stinks. This is Sean. Stay tuned. We got more content coming up after It Stinks right here on the Boom Broadcasting. Till next week, I'm out of here.